All right, guys, it's time to get real for a second. We all have that one habit. We call it a vice. It's that thing that we reach for a little too often. Now, I'm not going to name names, but let's just say there's a better option out there, and it's called Fume. Fume is leading the charge in the flavored air category. And it's not a vape. I don't want you to get that wrong. There's no nicotine. There's no vape. There's no batteries. There's none of that nonsense. Fume is simple, it's clean, and you can use it anywhere. They got flavors like crisp mint, orange vanilla. Trust me when I tell you, Fume hits the spot. Fume's not just functional, by the way. It's also fun. This thing is weighted, guys. It's got magnets that snap and click, and you can fidget with it all day long. Plus, guys, there's no charging ever. When I tell you this isn't a vape, I'm not joking. It's actually nothing like a vape. It is ready when you are. I tell you what, for a limited time, I'm going to give you an offer. Go to tryfume.com. Use my code Chael when you go there. I'm going to throw in a free Fume topper with your journey pack. This thing is chewable, reusable, and it makes your Fume even more fun to fidget with. These guys at Fume have served over 300,000 happy customers, and you can be amongst them. Don't wait, guys. It is time to level up with Fume. Go to tryfume, tryfum.com, use the code Chael, or scan the QR code that I was nice enough to place right there on the screen for you. Get your free Fume topper when you order your journey pack today. The importance of a call out. It feels like every week there's another class or another case study. And on the importance of the call-out, the number one thing you know if you did a good call-out is if you get the fight. We can understand that, right? But is it because you're now trapped in a cage and throwing punches and kicks at the person you called out? No. No, it actually has very little to do with the success of a call-out. The success of a call-out, if you did a good job or not, is did it make headlines after you did it? That's it. And for the greater success, and what was a better call-out, did it make headlines for more days, or even for more hours, or just more headlines in general? That really is the true answer to your success of the call-out. And the reason we say, well, ultimately, it's if you get the fight, then you prove that you did a good call. Well, no, not really, but if you get the fight, the built-in byproduct will be that you got those headlines. Now, the reason I bring that to you, it's a very risky game to insert yourself somewhere you don't belong, for a couple of reasons. First off, you're showing your own irrelevance, and it's your job as a 1099 independent contractor to bring a business to the business. And this is a concept that there is way less than 10 guys in the Ultimate Fighting Championship that even understand this, but their job is to create a business and a brand and bring that as an independent contractor to a larger business and brand known as the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So, to make yourself relevant and to be relevant are two things that you're trying to do, but the one thing you got to make sure that you don't do is show your irrelevance. Let me give you an example. I have the foggiest idea what to do with MVP, but he does have a brand, and he's very unique. And frankly, I don't know his record. Is it 1-1 in the UFC? But me not knowing his record adds to the point of what a good job he's done. He has not tarnished or diminished himself, even in defeat. And I'm remembering now he had lost his last fight to Ian Gary. But I have not heard his name since I just said his name in well over a month. I have not heard his name associated with an opponent or a proposed matchup or anything that would affect the rankings in well over a month. And MVP just called out Shar Bullet. That's a really interesting match. As a matter of fact, I think I love that match. Wow, what would happen there? And I feel like the stakes would be big. And to have a big fight, you have to have big stakes. One guy's got to be able to move that away, but the key is the guy that loses has got to go that way. There has to be a disparity. Right, there's got to be a gap when it's done for it to be a big fight. And I do feel like it would have those pieces. That would put MVP in a massive predicament. Now, based on that, MVP's call-out succeeded. To look at the other side of that, could he ever get that fight? I couldn't imagine. They're not in the same weight class. They have no business with each other. Nothing would be affected within the middleweight rankings for a welterweight and a middleweight to compete unless MVP is telling us that he is changing weight classes. Because, see, that in and of itself is a very interesting proposition. And if that is, in fact, what MVP is telling us, if he is, in fact, moving to middleweight, I'm not sure that I want to stop at bullet. I'd want to hear more conversation. I'd want to hear about Adesanya versus MVP. Like, I could have some real fun with that parody, but I can only remember 2 times when we've ever done that, when we've taken 2 guys at different weights and we put them together and it was a call out and they were fun. They were both really fun, but they also involved Conor McGregor. So the rules were a little bit different. So I wouldn't think that it's a wasted call out. I think that MVP's got some legs to that, as a matter of fact. I just think MVP needs to clarify. Like, he really needs to clarify. And if he was to risk it all and say, there is nothing for me at welterweight, so I'm going to move to middleweight, and if I can't get past the guy with one eye, that looks like it's going to be a wrap. That would then satisfy what has to be done for a big fight, which created a big fall and rise. And I just bring that to you because at the same time that I heard that call out, literally, my partner Ryan tells me, he goes, hey, there's 2 great call outs. What do we do with it? So he tells me this one, and then he says that Paddy the Baddy called out Colby Covington. And I'm in the exact same predicament where I'm going, well, Paddy doesn't take a lot of misses. Like, there's a number of people that need to tune into Professor Chael and take course. He would be one of the top students. I mean, in all fairness, but he thought this was a good idea. So I'm trying to look at it from that perspective, but I got to ask the same thing that I'm asking at MVP. Is Paddy telling us he's going to welterweight? I mean, if you go up to welterweight and you get the jump on Covington, who was the linear BMF, who was the interim champion who never lost it, woke up one day, wasn't the champion. I mean, I'm just sharing for you, like, that's going to get your name in a ranking. As a matter of fact, if Paddy went up to 170 and beat Colby, I believe the ranking that he would assume is higher than the ranking that he currently has. Paddy also has problems making the weight. And nothing ends a guy's career quicker. Nothing forces a fighter into the words, I'm retired, I'm done doing this, than the scale. Nobody's ever retired and told you, I'm retired because I don't want to make weight anymore. But that's what 99% of them retire for. The physiology, the lifestyle, the commitment, the dedication that goes in to making that weight class, that is what they're tired of doing. I like the idea of Paddy going up to 170. Now, I think that we're just talking here. I really do think that we're just talking. I have seen nothing from Paddy that would disqualify the idea that Paddy could be a world champion. In fact, each time I see Paddy, I believe in him more. And as I've gotten to know Paddy, I had him wrong. From a psychological standpoint, I had that guy wrong. I thought this was a young kid with a big mouth, regional fighter, great. He's going to be fun for a little while. Got a haircut like the dudes from the Monkees. This is what I thought. Hey, he's 31 years old. The father of 2. He's a husband. He's a breadwinner. This is a man. There's nothing cute, funny kid out of this guy. He goes out in the steel cages and whips people's head. He's calling out Colby Covington. But it does put us into a little bit of a bind in terms of, what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to 170? Are you staying there? What if it doesn't go well? I mean, are we going to find it out? Is this a bit of a challenge match, if you will? That's an old expression from college wrestling, but this is how it worked. You could go any weight class you wanted, and you would have a challenge match. You could challenge the guy up or down. And it was your choice. So is it a bit of a challenge match? If Paddy goes up and he beats Colby, does he stay? And I think the spot that Paddy is in now at 155, because you would see the problem with moving Paddy up, not getting his desired outcome, and going, well, I'm a 55-pounder anyway. Well, okay, but now we haven't taken a fall. We don't have a discrepancy based upon the result. I also think that Paddy is 2 fights away at 155 from fighting for a world championship. Now, they got to be the right 2 fights. But Paddy wouldn't just waste a call out. He just won it. Did he? Did he just waste a call out? Do I have this wrong? Is there something personal between these two? Is there a little piece of this that Patty and Colby have kept to themselves, or maybe they think that we know and we don't? Patty at 170 for me is very interesting. It's just not the right time because he's 2 away at 55. Michael Venom Page at 185 right now does offer some parity, but I'm not positive that is what being offered. I think what is being offered is my services for one night for that specific matchup because I've watched him and I can beat him and I want the glory, but I don't want to take any of the risk. That's not going to work, so let's stand by. Overall, if I'm grading both of these costs, they both get a passing grade. Here we are, and we're discussing them. And by the way, we like them, but can we go to the next step? We're having an actual conversation where your manager is getting somebody on the second floor of the UFC to take the call and entertain us. Can we get to that step? Well, that's actually a power that only you guys have. So leave me a comment and let me know where you stand.